Welcome to Mikitagnosis. Val Riazanov's ballistic striking method has gained a rather good notoriety these days. But what exactly is it? Is it another type of Systema, or is it his personal self-defense method? Well, let's figure this out together, shall we? Most of the contemporary Systema enthusiasts, especially the ones who are based outside of the Eastern Europe, have heard about his ballistic striking method. And with many of his demonstrations being highly praised and regarded as practical, he's rapidly becoming one of the most trusted Systema coaches out there. I find it very interesting because Val Riazanov is one of the very few Systema coaches out there who has an overall positive reputation around him. And I find it very peculiar since his coach, well, his master who taught him everything he knows, is actually one of the most controversial characters in the world of Systema, but you'll get to this a little bit later. But before jumping into his technical arsenal and his teaching method, let's first talk a little bit about the man himself. Val Riazanov was born in 1970, and just as many Soviet kids from that era, he got introduced to competitive sports at a very early age. His first martial art was Sambo, to which he has gained interest thanks to the influence of his father, who was a strong believer in the Soviet approach of growing strong men. And by the age of 9, he was already seeded into the Sambo group for kids who showed potential of being future Olympic material. As in the USSR at the time, it was still common for the Sambo champions to represent the Soviet Union in the judo discipline at the Olympics. With time though, due to his love for Sambo, he wanted to find out more about its roots, and after some digging he has discovered finally its origins and the immense contribution of Vasiliev in the development of Sambo, the man who has mastered judo in Japan under Jigoro Kano himself. This prompted Razanov to return to the roots of the art and mastering classical judo as well, a discipline in which he has reached 6th dan. Due to his profound knowledge, in 1987 Val Riazanov was accepted into the KGB Spetsnaz unit, where he was in charge of teaching judo to the special forces. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Razanov first emigrated to London, where he worked as a security consultant for various private and governmental agencies, and apparently it was then when he met Mikhail and Vladimir Vasiliev for the first time. They were the ones who have introduced him to the world of Systema. However, to this day, it is still not clear who exactly taught Val Riazanov his Systema. Was it Mikhail or was it Vladimir Vasiliev? And this is an important question, since if you are familiar with the work of my boy Mikhail right here, you obviously know where this is going.
На светофоре вот пешеходный переход там, да, и человек то идет, то стоит.
For example, on the cross road, there is a traffic light, and the person can start or stop movement.
Для чего?
What for? Выработать рефлекс человека.
Конечно. Это идет управление людьми. То есть нами управляют. Для нашей же пользы где-то. А где-то не для нашей пользы.
But jokes aside, I think Val Riazanov took more influence from Vladimir Vasiliev, since you obviously can see that they have similar approach to power generation, mobility and basically physical fitness. Ryabko is a different matter, and well, we discussed him in a previous video, but I think we should come back to him again, since there's a lot of things to tell. So, after years of training under them and thanks to his solid Sambo and Judo background, he has developed his own interpretation of Systema, the one that he's teaching to this day. Now, let's talk about the psychology and the technicality of the Val Riazanov's approach. Just as the originator of the art, Alexei Kadashnikov, Val Riazanov placed a heavy emphasis on the psychology in his interpretation of Systema, and according to his words, if you want to get rid of the fear of death, you have to change your personal scale of values. If you believe that your own life is the greatest value in the world, then you will inevitably experience fear in any situation that threatens your life. That's why it is necessary to find something that you would consider to be more important than your own life. You need to find an idea that will triumph over an animal instinct of self-preservation, and only in that case you will reach a true freedom in combat. And although in Systema it is normal to be taught to punch through the target, since the main theory is, well, to not stop the energy flow before you can transfer all of your kinetic energy into the strike, Val Riazanov opted for a slightly different approach to that. In his theory regarding striking, once you understand the principles of kinetic forces, you can literally learn how to dump all the energy into the target under any angle and causing a wide variety of effects. In his ballistic striking method, the strike should stop the opponent right on his tracks, meaning that the energy should not propel him forward, but drop them right on the spot. So in theory, the opponent should literally fall on his face as the energy stays inside his body after the strike, and is not projected through him, as it is taught in most other traditional martial arts systems. According to his research and his philosophy, without controlling your emotional state and your body relaxation, at least 50% of the power of your punch is sent back into your own body. In a way, you are robbing a lot of power from your own strikes, as well as wasting your valuable energy. So, in his interpretation, a strike, a perfect strike, should crash into your opponent akin to a wave in the ocean, in a heavy yet relaxed fashion. Personally, I love how these concepts sound, and his interpretation is very accurate to the way I imagine the perfect Systema punch should be. However, I have never actually tried training under his system and his particular method, so I actually would like to experience it on myself someday and make a fair judgment. My only gripe is that he praises Mikhail Ryabko as his coach, although I see no resemblance at all in their techniques or teaching methods. From all of the Systema masters out there, I disagree with the teachings of Mikhail Ryabko the most, as he is a perfect example of a man who is so deep in his ego that he is not far from claiming godhood. And well, he's getting there. And of course, there are still a lot of other things to say about Val Riazanov and his unique Systema method, but we can discuss those elements in trainings in the next videos which are yet to come, as discussing everything in the depth that it deserves is beyond the scope of a single video. Tell me guys, what other techniques and concepts of the Val Riazanov's ballistic striking methods would you like to know? I will discuss them in the next videos yet to come. The next video will be about the infamous boevoi hapak, a martial art of Ukrainian origin that claims to have its roots in the Zaporozhian siege of the famed Zaporozhian Cossack warriors. And it's not as self-explanatory as it sounds, so we'll see how true is that in the next video. So until then, remember to stay strong, stay healthy, and to never neglect knowledge. Peace out!